In this short tutorial, I'll take you through the idea of annotating the web or using digital markup. And I'm going to use the program Diigo to do that. So it's Diigo, and you'll find it at diigo.com. And when you go to diigo.com, it will look something like this. You'll need to create an account or log in. If you have your student Gmail account open, it makes it a lot easier, because what you can actually do then is allow Diigo to create an account using authorization from your Gmail, which is your student account, because that's Gmail. It's reasonably straightforward to do any of that. Just click on the Gmail symbol when you get to it. So I've already set one up, and what I'm going to do is show you how to do highlighting of the internet, just like you would highlight a printed page. Show you how to put post-its on the internet, just like you would put post-its, well, on anything. And then show you a little bit about setting up groups. In the free version of Diigo, you can really only set up one group with 3 members, and it's a private group. And if you want anything beyond that, you're going to be looking at some sort of financial commitment. It's reasonably modest, so for about €10 a year, you'll get a license which will enable you then to have up to 5 people in a private group, or as many as you want in a public group. But obviously that comes with its downsides as well. And then for about the price of a coffee every month or thereabouts, you're looking at then creating a group where you can have much more members. It's really dependent on whether or not you find this an attractive enough way of doing things that you might want to actually use this in the long term. So one of the things that you absolutely need for Diigo to work is you need to have access to the tools of the trade. Okay, and some of those tools are bookmarklets, so this Diigolet, and then a Diigo extension for Chrome. So I'm going to use the Diigo extension for Chrome because I'm using Chrome at the moment, but really the principles of this are almost identical. It'll look slightly different, but it does pretty much the same job. Okay, so I've installed that already. I have my library of things where I have already pulled things out of, and I've just done a test run to make sure everything is working a couple of minutes ago. So here's a paper from Science Advances, so I'm just going to go and pick a different paper or a different article just to highlight. So let's pick this article about HIV and antiretroviral therapy. So you can see that we have a couple of different bits and pieces here. We read this and we find it's very, very useful. So what I want to do now is I want to highlight some of this because I think it's so useful. So this particular figure I'm very interested in, and I want to make a note of that. So what I can do is I can use the extension of Diigo, which has an annotate feature, and you can see it has highlight, and it has something that's meant to be a sticky note. There's a save to Diigo function, and then I can show a list of all of the annotations I have on this page currently. So I'm going to pick blue, let's say. So now I've annotated that in blue. But I can change the color later on, because remember, this is an extra layer I'm putting on the net. So if I prefer green, I can have green. And maybe I want to annotate some other parts. So here I'm going to click this sentence, and you'll see that when I leave go of the mouse button, there's a context menu. And there we go. I'm going to put a note in yellow now, or a highlight in yellow. So I've highlighted those two things. Now they're captured by the Diigo software because you're logged in. And if I go back into my library, it has now updated that annotation that I added 4 seconds ago. And it will continue to update as I add on extra ones. So let's put a sticky note onto this now. So here we're adding a sticky note. This is a useful number to know. Now this is a private message, so I'm saving it just for myself. But what I can also do is I can actually share that to a group. So if you were doing group work, for example, and you were looking at different areas, you can share it to a group. Now I've set up a group already. I'll show you the kind of workaround to set up a single group in a minute. And I'm going to say MSc CLS is the group that I want to send it to. And I'm going to say, hey guys, look at this, because I think it's really interesting. So that's the kind of start of the group dialogue, but you can also continue that using comments. So different people in the group can actually post comments, and then they all get fed directly into both the annotation that's visible to you when you're logged into your Diigo account on the web, and they also feed into your Diigo library. Now, I said earlier you can look at the annotations that you've actually got on the page. So here you can see that you've got these annotations available. You have the specific annotation, and then you have the comments on that that you've made. You can copy all of this if you wanted to copy it and put it into a document, for example. So you actually have the ability to just hit copy all, and you've added it to the clipboard now, and you can go and do something else with that. You can delete individual pieces if you want to, but I'm not going to do that right now, because what I want to do is show you what it looks like in the Diigo library. So automatically now you've seen that it's got those two annotations that we did, and it also has your public comment as well, or your group comment I should say. So it's taking all of those directly into that particular, and it's pulled the header as well from the internet. So it's taken all of that information for you. Okay, you can add tags to it if you want. So it's basically going to be hashtag HIV, let's say, and then I can search for that later on. Okay, it should have found that HIV tag, so let's just double check. Okay, I didn't need to put in my initial hashtag. Okay, so let's just edit that and take away the hashtag. And now if we search for hashtag HIV, it will find it. Okay, so you don't need the hashtag when you're putting it in here. So now I've got a spider. I know it's a random one, but there's a spider on the front cover of Science. So if I look for hashtag spider, it also finds it. So this is the way of organizing some of your information with those tags. Now you can see I've got an image saved in here as well that I can actually zoom into. And really what I'm able to do here now is I can capture an image that's on this page. And that could be very useful, let's say if you're looking at an article of some sort. So if I hover over an image, it has the little Diigo button and tag as a standalone item. So if I hit that, I now have the option to actually take that and save it to Diigo. So I can share it to my group. I'm going to do that. It automatically pulls some tags out from the sort of the text that's associated with that image, but I could put another tag. So I'm going to put spider on this one as well. Okay, and an outliner is kind of like a book chapter, so I've got loads of these already, so I'm just going to stick it in pandemics, and then I'm going to hit save, and it's uploaded into Diigo. So hopefully now when I go back into Diigo in a minute, there we go, happening in real time, it's got the tag of spider. So if I do hashtag spider now, I should get a multiple hits. So there you go, all of the ones that have spider on them. Now it's still working away on it, which is why you don't see it exactly the same in both ways here. So that means you have this option of taking tables or images or text, putting highlights on them, putting notes on them, and associating that image or figure or whatever with some comments or with some tags, which means that you can then go and search for it later on. So this could be like figure 1 for your presentation. This could be, figure 3 for your thesis introduction, or whatever it happens to be. But all of those things kind of work together if you're using them. Now, if you share them with groups, obviously you can have, a much richer experience, but you can also take a snapshot. And again, this is something that you used to be able to do for free, but it's not as easy to do it anymore. So I've taken a snapshot. So here you go. This is a saved version with saved highlighting on it, and this is all the way back in 2014. So, it captures all of these things and makes them available for you, and captures the website, which can actually be very, very useful for you. Now, obviously, you need to make sure you have the right tags and organization as you start, but if you do it from the beginning, I think you'll actually find it's very, very straightforward and quite useful to do. Now, the workaround to get those groups in, they really don't want you to create a group anymore unless you've actually paid for it. So if you click on My Groups without doing this workaround, you won't see Create a Group here. Okay? But the way to get around it is to go to Focused Research, which is a premium feature, and then at the bottom it will say Create a Group. Okay, and it's a very straightforward thing. You just give the group a name and then pick categories, and you want public or private and so on. Do you want to invite members? It's all very, very straightforward. And once you've got all of those things together, it'll create the group for you, and you'll end up having a group similar to this MSC one. Now, the thing that's really actually is useful is this dialogue part. So you can see the different comments. So you can actually use this as a kind of a capture feature for that kind of group dialogue. And that can be very, very valuable for you. One of the last things that I'm going to show you is the ability to create a screenshot of this web page. So I want to basically take a snapshot in time of the web page that I'm looking at. So I'll have that. So let's click here, and now you'll see it has a couple of different options. So an arrow. So let's say I want to put an arrow here because there's something that I'm really interested in highlighting. And I'm going to circle this bit because I want to circle it. So I'm sticking things to the web page just like you would anywhere. And now you have the option to do something with that. So you can have it as a standalone one, just like we did for the spider one, or you can attach it to that page. So when you come back to this page, it will sort of have this overlay for you. But a standalone item might actually be more useful for you. So again, same idea with tags, groups, and so on. Let's stick it in our masters group and we'll save it. And you can see it's busy uploading. So now hopefully we will get that coming through in our group. There we go. So there is the one that this is the screenshot one that I've taken. And there you can see the exact screenshot that I've taken of it. So that can be very useful as well when you're actually working your way through all the literature and through all of the data. So hopefully that approach has been of some use to you to see how you can use Diigo effectively and make it work for you.